Hello and welcome to the Reetin Entertainment Podcast, episode 436 for January 28th, 2024. We give you our guarantee we're not going to shit on our employees' heads. Joining me this week, we have Andrew Roa McFain.
Yeah, guaranteed.
We don't have employees to shit on their heads. And we're
that's a good point.
And we're Connor. We're joined by Connor, the Cyberpunk Monk Bash.
You know, I'm looking at my contract here. I'm not seeing anything that says, like, that's not going to happen, and now I'm kind of thinking we should probably renegotiate these contracts.
Yeah. No, not doing that. But yeah. So, where can we find you guys? Somebody pipe up.
Aroa.website, and while you're there, you could check out one of my two podcasts, either being Clinton's Core Classics, a Rise of the Rune Lords First Edition Actual Play podcast, or Bug City Blues, a Shadowrun 6th World Edition Actual Play podcast.
Yes, those are good. How far along are you in the Shadowrun podcast? Because we're done with Clinton Core Classics. You can listen to the whole thing. It's all done. It's all good for like the first 15 episodes and after season 2.
As far as our releases, we are just hearing about the Hierophant Club. As far as where I am in editing, we are just scoping out the place. I've kind of taken a break because I'm in the process of packing my life up. So I'll get back to that probably next.
And you've been having issues with Audacity, from what I understand.
You know, now that I have that, it was really just that one like hour and a half's worth of recording. I think something happened with one of the audio files and it was corrupted or something like that. What I did is when I was done with that, I compressed it into an MP3. I threw that MP3 into a new Audacity file, and everything seems like it's fine now that it's not referencing any of that old data. Yeah, I got that off my computer.
I was hoping that I was really hoping that you're like, I'm sorry, Nick Lotus, your audio's messed up, so I had Aroa dub it.
Don't fucking threaten me with a good time.
That would be great.
I also feel like she would just do the lines again.
She probably would, yes. Of course, you can find me, Nathan Reet's Ruth. I'm Reetin everywhere. Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific time to 9 p.m. Pacific time. I'm on Twitch. And that's twitch.tv/Reetin, Reetin. However, I will not be there tomorrow night, which is Monday the 29th, because I will be working, because they make me drive all over the state sometimes. And so I'm going to go. Actually, I'm going not all over my state. I'm going all over my state and then going to Washington. So I'll be in Washington for a night, which is it's another state.
Give me a souvenir.
From Washington?
I don't know.
From right over the bridge from Washington?
Yeah.
Bring you sales tax? I don't know what's in Washington.
Neither do I. That's why I'm asking for.
The forest from Twilight.
Oh, is that where that's at?
Yep.
And I see.
Lots and lots of rain, right? Isn't
yeah.
Super rainy up there?
Yeah, Oregon and Washington are pretty rainy, at least compared to like where I used to live, which is in Southern California, which doesn't see rain very much. And then when they're like, "Oh no, we got 4 inches of rain, we're flooding," and I'm like, "What the hell is wrong with you?" Anyway, I digress. We're gonna move on, and we're gonna ask Aroa, what games have you played this week?
I have almost exclusively played Pal World.
Yeah, me too.
I really like it.
I didn't exclusively play it, but I did play it quite a bit.
It's very fun.
We'll talk more about Pal World after we ask Connor what he played.
Okay.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, I've been playing Packing My Life Up, so I haven't gotten too much time for video games. However, I do want to mention an experience I had in Space Station 13, which made me giggle. I believe, but I'm not positive, that we were in the middle of something called a Grey Tide, which is, like a YouTuber, an influencer or something. I'll mention the game, then we get a whole bunch of new people who are like learning the ropes. I think, but I'm not positive, Markiplier might have brought up the game. So we have a whole bunch of new people coming. Long story short, I was doing something totally unrelated to where the story gets interesting, and somebody geeked me. And my response to that is, all right, well, I could play that game too. Got myself a clone scan, got back into the science lab, and started making explosives when somebody was like, "Hey, I don't really know what I'm doing. Can you teach me stuff?" So I went to my old fallback. "Sure, kid. How would you like to learn how to make meth?" And this is the time where I look right into the camera and I say, "In a video game, in Space Station 13. So I was kind of having him crack up because like we were out of glass, so I was like, "Don't worry, I know how we can get containers." Went down to the bar, pulled out a water cooler's jug that holds the water, and just emptied it out right in the bar. And I was like, "There we go, we can make meth with this." Brought it back. I had him start filling that up with ammonia and ethanol, which is how you make diethylamine. And I was like, "All right, I'm going to give you the rest of the ingredients. You are going to mix these together, put it on a Bunsen burner, and I will check on you afterwards."
Uh-oh.
What I was expecting to have him do is take that water cooler full of diethylamine, which first off, let me just add here. Y'all know what diethylamine is, like what its role in the meth lab process is. If you don't know, when you hear about meth labs exploding, it's usually the diethylamine.
Okay.
Um, so I was expecting him to take that water cooler full of diethylamine, add it to the beaker that I just gave him, put that beaker on a Bunsen burner, and when the reaction happens, hey, we have meth.
He put the entire thing on the Bunsen burner.
I did not know you could put a water cooler on a Bunsen burner. But boy, let me tell you, when you have a water cooler full of diethylamine and you start heating it up, it makes a big fireball. So, as I mentioned before that, I was making bombs earlier, so I had black powder, welding fuel, and oil on the other side of the lab. And then there was no more lab. It exploded. Wasn't there no more. The server lagged for a bit, and then someone yelled at me.
Yeah, it wasn't your fault.
No, and the dude was just like, what happened?
Yeah.
So yeah, all of this because someone decided instead of doing role play, they were just going to fight.
Interesting.
Accidentally blow up a meth lab, a meth/bomb lab. I'm starting to understand why they don't do that together in a video game. For all the glowies listening, in a video game.
In a video game, like I know that there are some places where, like, you have to take off pretty much anything that causes static electricity when you go in, and then even to just like make computers, because static electricity can mess with computer parts, and so they have like a copper block that you like put your hand on before you go in to like dissipate the static electricity before you go into the building.
Yep, I've been in labs where you got to touch a grounding rod before you go in just to make sure you're discharged.
Yeah, and then like they've had times where there was a certain percentage of faults where somebody was like taking a drink from like a styrofoam cup, and just that created like a 0.5% more like fault in like a CPU chip or something like that.
They don't fuck around in those clean labs.
They do not. Anyway, that's fun. I'm happy that you blew something up. I played some. I'm gonna move on to me because I assume you don't have anything else. But I played some Yakuza. I'm sorry, Like a Dragon: Infinite Wealth, and I've only played for like an hour and a half. I got really tired on Thursday for some reason, and so I had to crash. But yeah, so far it's fun. I did find out you had a question when you came in. You had asked, Connor had asked, are you not the CEO of Ichiban Confections anymore? And the answer is no. And I talked to the lady, and the second in command, the one who had, you kind of worked with to build up Ichiban.
The old lady or the
the younger lady? I forget her name. I liked her. But yeah, you had given the company over to her in the interim.
Ah.
Yeah. That's how they get you to reset, basically. Because they can't start you at like, hey, you're a multi-billionaire now.
I'm no longer the #1 company in Japan. Damn, that's going to make this a little harder.
Just a little bit. But so far, it's been fun. It's a Yakuza game. I haven't got that far in it. The basic plot for the beginning is because the Omi Alliance broke up, there are a lot of ex-Yakuza who are trying to find jobs. And as Ichiban, you work at WeWork to try to get them jobs. That's the basic premise for the setup of the beginning of the game. And he also wakes up in the morning and jumps out of bed after his alarm. He's like, let's go, make a difference. And I was like, wow, you do not wake up how I wake up.
Fuck, I wish I could do that.
Me too. Just waking up being like, oh, why is it 7 a.m.? Why am I getting out of bed now? Oh man, I have a ticket I have to do. But But yes, it's pretty fun, and I'll be playing that more Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. The other game, as Aroa had mentioned, I've been playing some Pal World. I ended up getting the Steam version of it because the Xbox version was broken. The PC app would not
It has
allow me.
issues.
It does. It's borked for some. It would not let me join a multiplayer map.
You can't crossplay
Nope.
with Steam players. And apparently there are certain things, like even in the game, like crafting and shit,
That are
that
like,
doesn't work right.
yeah, there's something wrong with it, and like I think I read a statement by the Pal World devs that basically said it has to do with the verification process is different for the updates between Steam and Xbox, which makes sense. That sounds right. Where with Xbox they have to validate it a lot more, and with Steam, you kind of just throw the update on and it works.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot easier to like do iterative updates on Steam. So I was like, screw it, I'll just buy it. And I found a way that you can grab your saves from the Game Pass version and move them over to the Steam version. So I kept all my stuff.
Man, screw it, just buy it. What a concept.
Yeah. And so I played with some friends. I played with Airfox, and another friend came in, and we were playing the game. And I was gonna go to bed at midnight, but then I bred two Palmons, whatever. I bred two pals, and they made a huge verdant egg. So I was like, oh man, I gotta wait until this hatches. And I'm happy I did, because it is a sweet pal that I got. It has 2 planting, 3 handiwork, 2 lumbering, 2 transporting, and 3 gathering. And I was like, sweet, awesome. So I'm gonna make them make a bunch of babies. Basically, I'm gonna have a bunch of those. What did you have anything that you wanted to talk about with Pal World? Anything specific that you did that was cool?
I I mean, no. Like the thing about it is that for the most part, it really is kind of a bog standard survival craft 'em up.
Mm-hmm.
It's really just the Pokemon element of it that raises it way higher than all the other games like that I've played. Just because most of the time, particularly with something like Conan Exiles or 7 Days to Die or whatever, it's like, what is your objective? Your objective is to live, like,
Yeah.
and that's pretty much it. And whenever you add the collectible aspect of it, as well as the towers being the like boss fights, but more readily the collectible element of it, like it completely changes the feel of that. Where now you have an objective, which is to get your pals stronger and get better tech so that you can make weapons and better equip both yourself and your pals so that you can go catch bigger pals and beat the bosses across the absolutely fucking massive open world.
It is huge.
Um,
The
and
one thing that I kind of wish they had the option for would be like procedurally generated worlds, so that not every world was exactly the same. Like have the same, like, hey, there's a tower in this particular area or whatnot, but still have like different land masses and stuff. I think that would be nice.
I thought that at first, but after exploring probably 10 or 15% of the map, like it wouldn't be anywhere near as good as far as world like design. There are definite like crafted set pieces in the world that you're supposed to come across, and like just having it where well, like in Lego Fortnite, which the other survival craft 'em up that I was playing before this, where like none of that exists there.
Yeah.
It's really all just it's very obviously procedurally generated shit, and every once in a while you get like a cave entrance or something like that. Like the pre-made world being what it is means that they can put in interesting elements, even if it's like not not all that exciting to climb like a massive tower, uh and not the boss towers, but just like a big castle tower or whatever, and like your reward is a chest and a leaf monk effigy.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, like I sure, like, but I think that's more satisfying than if it were just big world with mountains sometimes, and like that was it.
Well, that's what I was saying.
Uh,
Like to make it procedurally generated, but also have like certain set pieces that are baked into the game. I'm sure there's a way to do that.
I'm sure that you could do that. I don't think it would be as good, and also, at least with this particular developer, I don't think they'd be able to pull it off anywhere
Probably,
near as well as would be preferred.
I think
probably
doing
not.
Uh,
it in a guaranteed way and doing it in a way where it doesn't get kind of repetitive and disgustingly sickened, that's a fine line you got to tiptoe.
yeah, like kind of imagine if like Breath of the Wild was a procedurally generated world. Like I just don't think it would have the same impact
Well,
in a lot of
the
cases.
only reason I think it would be nice to do that would be for like self-hosted servers to have
Yeah.
you could like vary the size of it or whatnot. I was talking with Durga because Durga and I went out to lunch yesterday, and he's like, I need to find a way to speed up, the hatching, because like that huge verdant egg that I got
Mhm.
it takes 2 hours, and then if you have the right heating conditions, you can make it an hour. And he's like, I need to find a way to speed it up. Like I was in my friend's world, and like their eggs were hatching pretty much instantly. I'm like, yeah, that's because you can just change the setting to have it hatch instantly,
Yeah.
basically. And I was like, I know it's not cheating to set that, but also it feels like a little bit like cheating to me. And I'm just like,
I think it's less satisfying,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah. And so, because
That said, the
like,
default of 72 hours for massive eggs is fucking ridiculous.
yeah, maybe turn that down to like not
Because that's
72 hours.
like that's the default is 72 hours for massive eggs, and then each smaller size from there scales appropriately.
It's half.
So like even regular fucking eggs by on the default setting take like 24 hours to hatch.
Real? Wait, like common eggs?
Yeah.
Because I didn't change anything.
I know it's so I don't get it because we've got two different group servers going on.
Yeah.
One is one that Katie is hosting, and then one is one that I have on my server.
Yeah.
And the one that she's hosting, she did not change how long it takes to hatch eggs. Large egg hatched 3 hours. Like, and it's like I don't understand because I put a large egg into an incubator on like my local game, and it was going to take like 48 hours by default. I
You
think
must have changed something, because I did not change a single thing, and a common egg takes 10 minutes.
like even in the documentation, the default time or the default setting for that is 72.
I
I,
wonder. I wonder something though, because I played on the PC Game Pass version
I,
and
so
moved it over.
what I think it might be actually um is that by default on a save that you create locally, it overrides that default setting.
Oh, that could be it too. Yeah, because
Because with dedicated servers, they're always running. So like having it set to 72 hours isn't that big of a deal because
Yeah,
like you
it
could come
is.
back in 3 actual days and it'll be done. Whereas doing that with a local save where you actually have to keep the game running for that long, that's going to take a ludicrous length of time.
Yeah, that might be it. But anyway, I'm happy that it does not take that long. It took an hour for that huge
Yeah.
verdant egg, and I got a Birdash out of it, which is an awesome pal. Very, very excited about that one. I don't even know. I don't know how to make a massive egg yet. What's the size? So it's common, large, huge, and then massive, or is it?
I genuinely don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, then we're gonna move on, and we're gonna talk about some news stories. We are. Part of me's tempted to talk about the Vince McMahon stuff, but we're just not going to talk about that because that's not in the scope of this podcast.
Yeah, it's also just neither here nor there, really.
It's really
Yeah.
just a whole bunch of crap.
Yes, indeed. First things first, more layoffs. Yay. Microsoft has laid off 1,900 Activision, Blizzard, and Xbox employees, which doesn't surprise me. They just bought Activision Blizzard, so obviously they're going to be, getting rid of people. Not that they don't have the money to pay them, because they just bought, what was it, 60 something billion dollars that they paid for Activision Blizzard
Well, they gotta make that money back somehow.
by laying off 1,900 people.
Look, how
Yeah.
can they afford to pay all those people when they have other studios they need to acquire?
That's true. I have to thank you for that. But yes, a lot of people have been laid off. There's also Blizzard president Mike Ybarra has decided to leave the company as well. He probably got a huge payout. He probably got so much money that it doesn't matter. He's going to be fine for the rest of his life from that acquisition. Same thing with Kotick. Kotick, he had a golden parachute, and I'm sure he made millions of dollars off of that acquisition. So both of them are going to be fine. Yeah. What do you
I
guys
also
think?
want to say everyone hated Mike Ybarra's guts.
Yep,
I don't really.
I could see a situation where Mikey Barr is like, I don't need any money. You don't need to pay me to go away. I just need you to promise me nobody is ever going to email me about Diablo ever again.
Is that? I don't know anything about Mike Ybarra. Why would people not like him?
I mean,
I-
he's one of the senior people at Blizzard, which, as we know, a lot of the issues that Blizzard has faced in up to, and I guess even including now that they've been acquired, is that their management has just been like awful, toxic, nasty, bad to women in particular. I'm not accusing Mike Ybarra of any of this in particular, but it is my understanding that a lot of that trickled down from the upper echelons.
Yeah.
I think he though was he not brought in after all of that happened?
Was that after after the
Oh
whole?
yes,
Like,
you
I-
are
I-
right. He came into the company in 2019 apparently. So I
Yeah,
don't know.
because he was actually ex Microsoft. Funnily enough, but I want to say whenever the previous CEO left as a result of all that coming out, and then they replaced him with a woman for a little while, or no, it was that weird thing where it was they were gonna have like co-CEOs or some shit, and it
I
was gonna
kinda
be
remember that.
partially the woman, partially Mike Ibarra, and then like several months later, the woman was like, "I can't fucking take this culture anymore," and then she just stepped out and left Mike Ibarra there.
Maybe
Yeah.
that's why I got that association. I know that Blizzard has got some stinkers in it, and I wouldn't be surprised if hopefully, a lot of this is just getting rid of the stinkers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they Microsoft said whenever they were in talks, just in talks to acquire Activision, that they were like, yeah, we're probably gonna be gutting a lot of people that are bad actors in there once we get
Probably.
them.
It says on the bottom they actually have the full like memo that was sent out to everyone. And I just wanted to read the what happens next part. It says those who are impacted are being informed in meetings starting today. Given the challenging day ahead, anyone who is set up to work from home and would prefer to can work remotely today. Oh, congratulations! You can work remotely right before we fire you. Due to time zones and local holidays, some impacted employees in APAC and EMEA will be informed later this evening and early next week. That's gotta be so stressful to like
That
go into
is
work
how.
and know that you're gonna get fired.
So that is how Blizzard has always done layoffs, and it's really fucked up. There's a guy who's been kind of making. He's kind of been growing because of YouTube Shorts, who is ex Blizzard. I don't know if you've seen any of his stuff,
I
but
have not.
he said during one of the layoff things that he was there for, they essentially would tell people to, whenever they were coming in, to either come in one door or the other door. And they would just and everyone knew that one door was the layoff door and one door was the you have a job door, but you didn't know until you got into the room. And then what they would do is the layoff room, they would walk you out the back door so no one knew until everyone was in, and then you just realized that there were people who were gone.
I would my imagination is like the layoff door is just like a drop. You just walk through and drop
door in the floor. Hey, I need you to stand right on that. No, I'm telling you, you want to be right on that X. You're gonna smack your chin on the way down, bub.
That's awful. What they would do at Consumer Cellular is they would just walk you out. So like when I left there, I was like, hey, I'm putting in my 2-week notice. And I knew that if I put in my 2-week notice, they walk you out. And so I did that and had a little bit of time off. But then other times, like we would show up, and if somebody was fired, there would be no meeting. There would be nothing. Their desk would just be empty. Like all of their personal effects would be gone. And we'd be like, hey, what happened to Sarah? And like the manager would be like, I don't know who you're talking about.
That's how my manager at my IT as a service job got fired. And it just showed up one day when we were supposed to have a project and they weren't there anymore. And boy, did I enjoy turning the tables. And the day that I had a big project, turning to my big boss and being like, oh, by the way, I quit. Bye.
Yeah, that's always fun. So, yes, it's so weird. I just don't like that. And sometimes, companies will, Microsoft in particular, I've heard a few people talk about getting laid off from there. And usually they'll just have meetings and be like, hey, everybody in this meeting is getting laid off. You get 3-month severance package, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Here's your sheets. Bye. But just walking them out through a layoff door doesn't sound. You go through door A or door B, and like, hey, all the people here are gone. Yay! They did that. Before we move on to the next story, Mickie James, who's a professional wrestler, she was let go at one point. And when they mailed her stuff back, they did it in a black bag, like a black trash bag.
What the fuck?
That's not very tasteful.
It was not tasteful. It says, just reading the rest of this, it says, after the notifications are complete, leaders will bring their teams together. Please be mindful of this process in your conversations and outreach during the next few days. Oh, right. Like, in Teams or whatever they use, all the people are like, so you're getting fired, right? What are you doing? Are you putting applications in? Obviously. We're going to move on, and we're going to talk about Reeton getting a pay cut on Twitch. Unfortunately.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. That $10 a month.
How can you carve up a fraction of a cent?
Hey.
That's right. Hey, pennies. That's exactly how.
I have $10 a month I'm getting from Twitch. Thank you very much. But they have actually lowered the amount that you get per Prime sub, I believe, or per sub. It says this is from
That's Prime sub.
Okay,
right?
it is Prime Sub. Yeah, I thought so. What the Prime Sub is if you have, by the way, if you have Prime membership, go to Reeton or twitch.tv/Reeton and press the subscribe button, and you'll give me $2.25 now instead of $2.50 a month, depending on where you live. And yeah, they've lowered that basically, and it's based off the cost of Prime. So in different countries, Amazon Prime costs different amounts of money. So it says for most countries, the payout rate is dropping by less than 5%. For instance, a Prime sub from the United States will be worth $2.25, so it's down 25 cents from $2.50. A Prime sub from somebody in the UK would be $1.80 because they apparently pay less for Prime than we do. Shockingly, I thought that it would be more in the UK, but nope, it's less in the UK. And then a Prime sub from Turkey will be 9 cents.
Oh man, that's your target demographic too.
Yeah, that's exactly who I'm trying to appeal to. As the person points out, Prime subscriptions are just one of the ways that streamers can earn money on the platform, alongside tips and regular paid subscriptions. He also announced that some changes to Partner Plus program, which is designed to give smaller creators a bigger slice of the pie. I did hear that they're changing some of that, but I didn't actually read about it, so I didn't want to put it in the list of stories for this week.
I hate this.
What?
The Plus program.
Yeah, I've heard about that a little bit. What do you hate about it?
Oh, well, so I guess I don't.
It doesn't
I guess
matter
I don't.
for us.
Well, I know it doesn't matter for us. I'm more thinking. So it's. I get it. It's a points-based system. Maybe I need to read the actual help article from Twitch because this doesn't explain. So, like, do you only get a point from a new sub, or as long as someone maintains their subscription, do you still get the point for the next month?
I would imagine it would be total number of subs overall.
Recurring paid subscriptions, any tier applies toward qualification criteria. Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, I thought it would be
okay. I'm okay with that then.
But what is the Partner Plus program? What it's earning 70% instead of 50%.
Well, it's earning a larger percentage of income based on your number of subs.
Yeah.
So, or at least the value of those subs, I guess to say, because you jump up to 60% once you hit 100 points. It looks like
100 subs, basically.
Well, it's 100 tier 1 subs.
Yes.
Because a tier 2 sub is worth 2 points and a tier 3 sub is worth 3 points. Gift and Prime subs don't count.
No, of course not. Because why would that count?
But if you get 100 plus points for 3 months in a row, then you get a 60% split. Whereas if you maintain 350 plus points, that revenue share jumps up to 70%. So that's the way that you can get to what it should be in the first place.
Yeah, I'm on my way there. I'm at 4.
Yeah.
Oh, I lied. I'm not at that much because 3 of those are Prime subs.
Oh.
So I have 1. I have 1 point. Which just illustrates how difficult it is to get 350 recurring subs.
Let me tell you, what you gotta do. You gotta get yourself a VTuber avatar.
I've heard that. I just can't. I don't care. I don't care.
So
don't
you don't want to sacrifice your own identity for money?
No, I don't.
I don't remember if it was you guys I was talking to about this or my coworkers, perhaps. Something happened in the last 2 weeks where YouTube is like, "You fucking love VTubers, don't you?" I'm like, "No, I've never seen one before." It's like, "Are you sure? Are you sure you don't fucking love Fillion? Are you sure?" And I'm like, No, please,
Yeah,
no. Oh,
Fillion
Chumba? You
in
like Chumba?
particular.
No.
I did want I'm gonna move on because I just remembered something. I don't have it listed as a story, but it's actually a cool update. Before we move on to the last actual story that we're talking about, did you know Apple Podcasts, which we are on by the way, if you want to subscribe, do it. Uh, they're adding in automatic transcriptions.
Yeah, I got an email
Yeah.
about that for Bug City Blues.
Yeah, like that's pretty awesome. So if you are listening to this or you have access to listen to it on Apple Podcasts, first off, subscribe to us here at the Reeton Entertainment Podcast, but also you might have to just put in Reeton Podcast. And then go to Bug City Blues and press the button there and you'll get automatic subscriptions of or transcriptions of what we're saying.
You could hear what Apple is mishearing us all say with our thick Chicago accents.
I've said it before. DaVinci Resolve has the ability to automatically transcribe things as well. In their $300 package or whatnot. And if at some point they add the ability in to do it per person, like different audio or different transcriptions, like basically you could like highlight Aroa as blue and then me as red or whatever. I would probably pay for that just for that feature. Because that would be really cool.
I think you wanted it to like use AI to identify which person is speaking within one audio track, right?
Yes. Now,
Yeah.
the way that Connor does Bug City Blues, he could do that.
Mhm.
Because he
Yeah.
has them on separate tracks, so he could bring them all in if he wanted to make it into a video. He could bring them all in and then have like the different tracks have their own transcription, which I think would be really cool. But yes, I would like AI to be able to recognize the voice, at least for the most part, and automatically transcribe it. And then I would do 0 editing, hoping that it was messing up half the time. Just because I always love the automatic transcriptions when they suck.
Yeah.
They're great.
I've seen a couple examples. In particular, I listened to a Star Trek podcast, and I'm pretty sure it is Adobe Resolve or whatever it is. Specifically, that guessing on some of these made-up ass Star Trek terms, it's funny as fuck.
Yeah.
Chipotle is always Chipotle.
It's funny that you, like, because you can go in and like edit that. Obviously, it'll give you the wording, and you can be like, oh, that's wrong, and change it. But it is great because I've noticed that a lot of YouTubers who do like automatic transcription stuff don't change the words, and so I'm
It's
like,
wrong
wait a minute.
all the time.
Oh, yeah.
As well as being targeted by god awful VTubers, I'm also getting targeted by god awful AI generated videos. And a lot of them, they'll say things wrong, and the AI that's giving it subtitles will just be like, swing and a miss. I tried my best, homie.
Before we move on to our last story, I do want to say there is one guy who, we've spoken about him before, Technology Connections. Watch his videos with subtitles on. Because he always puts really funny comments. He actually types out all of his subtitles and puts funny comments in the subtitles.
I like it whenever channels do that.
Yeah. Anyway, our last story is Van Gogh's back, apparently. And he's making Pokemon.
Okay, that's a little misleading.
That is exactly what's happening. We have resurrected Van Gogh, and he is making Pokemon now.
No, that's not even what the news story's about.
I know. Please,
do you want me to take over?
Yeah, please do the actual story.
All right, let me drag this window over here. I got distracted watching a video. So here is the deal. There is an exhibit in a Amsterdam museum. I'm trying to see which museum. I guess it's just the Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam, where they had a whole bunch of paintings that were drawn like in the style of Van Gogh, but they were Pokemon. The one in the top of the article that we have here from Eurogame shows a cute little Pikachu with a nice little bowler's hat on.
It's so fucking cute.
So the issue is that there was some less than favorable behavior by some of the people who were working the exhibit, the employees.
Yeah, that's who they would be. Yes.
I'm trying to think of the exact word. The curators, I guess. Like that's what you call someone who manages an exhibit, right? A curator. Anyways, that's not the important part either.
Sure.
At least 4 employees have been identified as doing pretty shitty things, such as mostly scalping the card that you would get for being on the exhibit. Like they would give it to you as a part of doing it, and they were selling them on eBay at inflated prices, which they're certainly not the first to do that, but it really sucks when it's not, people going to the exhibit and selling it, and instead it's the staff saying, hey, we should just open these and make a profit off of it. In
Yeah.
addition to this, on days where people were at the museum, they would tell people, oh no, we don't have any shows today, so that they would have more tickets to cards, that is, to turn around and sell.
Oh, so like, would it be, let's say we buy a show and there's like 50 of us.
Mhm.
Do they then get 50 cards that would show up?
That's exactly correct.
Okay.
And then, they don't have enough today. At that point, the staff would probably be able to do whatever they want with them. So they'd be telling people, oh no, you'll have to come back in like 2 weeks or something like that. Sorry, no shows today. And in the meanwhile, they would just sit on all those and turn around and sell them on eBay.
And sell them for a couple
They're a
hundred
bunch of
pounds.
shitters.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean,
so-
I understand. Like, why not inflate the numbers a little bit? Just be like, oh, we have to have 5 more, and then you take those 5 anyway.
I feel like the answer to that is Nintendo famously has no idea what supply and demand is.
Yeah.
The museum has since gone out and issued an apology. Let me tell you, one of the people who were involved in this had been working as a curator for like 25 years. When you get fired for stealing from a museum, you don't get another job working for a museum.
I would
No.
imagine
That's it for
no.
that career.
Yeah, there's things where, like, if you get fired for this, you're not coming back into this, and you might as well find something else to do with your life.
Like if you're a cop and you get fired, you don't get rehired unless you're like a town over.
Yeah, I was gonna say that happens all the time. Actually, I've told this story before. I had a friend who his dad set a police station on fire. He went to he set it from the top, which is not how you set a fire. If you're gonna set a fire to a building, do it from the bottom because
Heat
heat
rises up.
Yeah. So he went to the roof and set the roof on fire.
Now,
got
to
in
be
trouble.
fair, I do know a little bit of the background behind the story. To be fair, they did confiscate his illegal knife.
That
I
is
mean,
true.
What did you expect to happen?
I know. But the thing is, a few years later, he was hired on at a cop at that same police station. Which is
Do you have any incidents you would like to bring up during your interview? Nope.
not a one. I think his brother or brother-in-law was a sheriff in that town, and so he was able to get him in that job. And I was just like, still, I don't think he should have been hired as a police officer. He set the building on fire. That's
Probably
something
a
you should
poor
get.
judge of character.
Yeah. But yes,
Which is the same that they found about these particular curators at the Van Gogh Pokemon exhibit.
Where is this Van Gogh exhibit located?
Amsterdam, it looks like. I don't know where at in.
Oh, interesting. I won't be able to visit it. I'm going over to Germany, Belgium, and the Netherlands. So
Man, when I was in Germany, I was like I could have done it. I thought about going to Amsterdam while I was there. I had my passport, I had a car.
I don't have a car, but I have a couple train tickets. I'm gonna go from
What?
What?
Did you say you were going through the Netherlands?
I'm
Well, he's going to
to
Germany, so he's like going to be basically right there.
So I have yes, I'm gonna go. So I'm going to Germany. I'm going to Frankfurt. I'm gonna take a 4-hour train ride to Belgium, so that I can go to Bruges because I've wanted to go to Bruges since I've seen that movie. I'm going to stay there for a night, and then I'm going back to Frankfurt. Then I'm going to take another train up to northern Germany, I believe, to a town called Leer, which is where a friend of mine lives. And that is about 20 minutes away from the Netherlands. So she and I are going to go up to the Netherlands.
Amsterdam's in the Netherlands.
I know, but I'm probably still not going to go to Amsterdam.
Go to Amsterdam.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, you're
I won't be...
acting like you weren't going to be anywhere near there, and it's like
You're going to be
in
right
the
next to it,
Netherlands.
homie.
Yeah.
Probably, but it'll be difficult to travel even more than because I'm doing all that in 2 weeks. Like that's a very short timeline to do everything I want to do. But also,
I just want to say it's super easy. Like the reason I didn't do it is because I'd be surrounded by people I work with, and I don't have the impulse control to be somewhere like Amsterdam and also be around people I work with.
That's true.
You should
No,
consider it, homie.
well, here the thing is, I would talk to my friend and say, hey, we should go do this, or at least go here and go explore. But she has a kid who's like 2, and then
2-year-olds love pot. It'll be great.
well, here's the other thing: she is currently pregnant.
Pregnant women love pot. It'll be great.
And it'll be either right before or right after I leave, she's going to have the baby. So I don't think she's going to be up for like, hey, let's go do all this stuff.
Real talk, that's some balls on her for traveling when she's almost going to make a person show up.
Yeah, I mean, her husband's there, but she's going to be on maternity leave. From what I understand, she's going to be on maternity leave while I'm there. And so
I hope your trip has a lot of seats is all I'm saying. Damn.
Well, the thing, she lives in Lear, so she'll be the one driving around and stuff. Yeah, so we'll be all right, but it's gonna be fun. Yeah, for the first couple weeks of March, I'm not gonna be here on the podcast. It'll be Aroa and Connor holding down the fort, which
Maybe
I'm sure that it'll be Aroa holding down the fort, mimicking Connor the whole time. If you do that, Connor, I'm sorry, Aroa, if you do that again, can you give Connor a Wisconsin girl accent?
a Wisconsin girly accent.
Oh yeah, I love Shadowrun.
Beautiful.
Shadowrun, Warhammer 40K, Shadowrun.
Anyway, we're pretty much done for the day. We will be back next week talking about more news and tech layoffs, probably. But I want to thank you for being here, Aroa.
You can take a train from Lear to Amsterdam in 3 hours, 22 minutes.
I'm going to already be on a train for 4 hours from Frankfurt.
It's an even shorter trip.
I just want to let you know, homie, you're in Germany. You're going to be on a lot of trains, and they're going to be delayed. This ain't no Japan.
I've heard about that. I've heard that Germany has some of the worst delays in all of Europe for when it comes
Being
to
in
trains.
Germany, you'll get a message being like, attention, your train is delayed.
And you're like, yep, okay. That sounds about right. In Japan,
How
they're
long?
like,
Yeah.
in Japan, they're like, your train was left the station 11 seconds early. We are sorry. We will write an official apology letter. And I'm not kidding. That happened.
I just want to get you ready for the realism of it. Germany was not quite what I was expecting when I was there, mostly because I was poor when I was there.
Yeah, thankfully I will have some money, and I just did my taxes, so hopefully I'll get my taxes while I'm there.
Thankfully, it's Nathan, and he will have unfathomable amounts of money at all times.
I don't have unfathomable amounts of money. I only have like $3,000 in my bank account right now.
Luckily, it's Nathan, so he's going to take his yacht out to Europe, and from there he's going to take the private jet over to Germany, because that way he saves money on a first-class ticket.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it goes. No, I did my taxes, and the Oregon, because I don't know what it is. I think it's pot. I'm pretty sure it's pot. We've had like a surplus like the last 3 years for taxes, and this last year was even more surplus than what we had the previous years. So I'm getting like $2,400 in state. So I'm pretty excited about that.
You can have a surplus of taxes?
Uh-huh.
That's how much money they're making off pot.
Yeah.
Jesus. Like,
And pot's not Illinois prices over there. Pot's Oregon prices over there.
Yeah.
oh, is it like actually reasonable?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I guess you wouldn't know.
You're not paying
it's
$80 for an ounce.
Let's see, Oregon pot prices.
You go over there, you get like 2 evenings worth of shit, and it's almost $100.
Portland is higher. Damn, Portland is expensive. It looks like. I don't know what this is. What is it? Price per ounce is very expensive apparently in Portland. So don't buy pot in Portland. That's $180 an ounce.
Ooh.
But if you go down, it's...
Oh, wait. Ounce or gram?
ounce.
What kind of measure?
I don't know if that's good or not. And then if you
Let me-
go
let me check.
to, and
That's
then, but
28 grams.
it's, I have no
That's
idea.
That's a bad price, actually.
But here's the thing: if you go to Kaiser, which is next to Salem, that's $70 an ounce.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty damn good.
Yeah, and then it fluctuates. If you go to Salem, this is all for medium quality, I guess. If you go to Salem, it's $65 an ounce, and if you go to Beaverton, which is right outside Portland, it's $69 an ounce. So just don't buy pot in Portland proper. So
I'm just gonna look up how much it is at my local place right now. I don't usually buy in that kind of quantity at once, and I'm curious.
the average cost of marijuana by state. Yeah, it looks like you guys are expensive.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, Oregon is pretty. Like I'm looking at this list. We got sidetracked, but the cheapest, the places with the cheapest prices are Mississippi, with $170, I assume an ounce, and Oregon for $187. So, yeah, the most expensive is DC. Apparently, do not smoke pot in DC. It's $550 an ounce.
All right,
What
so
the
if I
fuck?
wanted that same price of something that I would go out and get, do you want to guess at how much it's going to cost, Nathan?
For you?
For if I was in Oregon, you said it'd be about 180. If I was in Portland,
Yeah.
how much do you think that same amount would cost me here in Illinois?
I'm gonna think there's a $322. My
Yeah, you
guess.
fucking wish. $480.
Jesus. Connor's moving here just to smoke pot.
Just to start smoking pot.
Yeah. That's a lot of money. I don't want to pay $180 an ounce. I can't imagine paying $400 and something an ounce. Oh man, I'm so happy I don't have any vices like that.
Fucking A.
Anyway, I wonder how much is in Amsterdam. Maybe I can bring some home.
Don't do that.
Yeah, look, I don't know where you were looking, but even here, at the local dispensary, it would be about $200 for an ounce of weed.
Damn.
So but you're more near Chicago proper.
I am. Yeah.
No,
No, he's way
Connor
south.
is.
Yeah.
And so you being more local, like a rural area, I would imagine that the pot would be cheaper there. But I wouldn't know. Obviously.
So I would call it more suburban. Like I'm not rural.
Well, it's a smaller area, is what I meant to say.
Yeah.
I am in a rural area. Anyway,
I think we're substantially cheaper than St. Louis is somehow.
taxes maybe. Maybe
I imagine that it's just because Missouri is run by a bunch of fucking conservative fuckwads, and they didn't want to make it legal anyway.
That's true. That makes sense. Anywho, we're going to stop talking about pot, and I want to thank you for being here, Connor.
I was here. Why? I don't understand why I was a Wisconsin woman, but I'm here.
It's because I love that voice that Aroa does.
It is a good voice.
So when he does like Danganronpa stuff and puts it on YouTube 7 years ago, he would do a Wisconsin girl's voice, and I love that voice. And so I just want him to do that voice all the time.
Well, I've learned something about Nathan today.
It's got a thing for Wisconsin women.
Wisconsin women voiced by Aroa. I will be back. We'll be back next week doing some more, interesting stuff. Goodbye.